Welcome back to the NAO Show. It was a crazy week. Only broke that 100-point mile mark, but don't fret. SillyDilly still sucks. So it's all right in the world, right? How are y'all doing, guys?
Doing great.
I'm ready to move on to week 10.
Yeah.
No, we got to talk about week 9. Week 9.
I'm going to take time Mike on that one.
What? That other guy, SillyDilly. You still suck. All right. This is only going to go on for the whole show, so I hope you guys are real ready for it. All right, let's get into these matchups from week 9, Mark and Mark.
All right, yeah, let's do the scores. And ironically, I started with yours, Sean. The Marquee Mark matchup from last week. Fresh Prince of IR, 111. SillyDilly, 89. Now, I'll stop calling you Fresh Prince of IR when he comes off of IR, but right now you got to be
Maybe
what you
next week. Maybe next week.
I really hope
Maybe
so.
next week. Maybe next week.
I hope so.
So, I'm sorry?
I hope he
Somebody
comes
was
off
talking.
soon. I need him.
Yeah.
You need him. I need him. Week 10's looking mighty like a big old mountain to climb, right?
Well, this one was ironic to me because you both have players in your lineups that you traded with one another. But Sean, you came out on top, got the better of it again because you beat him one time. Now you beat him 2 times. So I'm guessing, I guess it's just because you were a better trader. I don't know. Start us off.
Marky Mark, gonna make me blush over here on the NAO Show. I do just want to bring out one person that made me very happy. That was Devante Smith. He got 20 points against his former owner. That was very nice. That made me very happy. And then Jerry Jeudy, he didn't have a very bad game. He had 6 targets on 8 targets on 6 catches. That's pretty dang good. You want your wide receivers getting high targets. All my wide receivers are getting pretty good targets now.
I'm sure you really like your flex here of Jeudy, Waddle, and Smith. I'm sure that's been nice to roster for you.
Yeah, once I got Devonte Smith, I was like, man, this Jeudy, Waddle, Smith flex, I'm really leaning into that, shoring up your flex spots. Trademark.
Damn.
I mean, all 3 of those could do 20 points in a given week and drop 60 on a guy.
You have the Rookie of the Year runner-up, Justin Jefferson, too. So, hey, your young wide receivers are looking okay.
You had to bring that up. He
was 2nd or 3rd place. He may have been 3rd place, actually.
It's only because everybody hates me and wants me to freaking tweak on the show. So everybody's like, oh, let's vote for everybody else other than the clear and obvious choice of Justin Jefferson in 2020. The only thing clear in 2020 was that Justin Jefferson was the Rookie of the Year, and everybody else wanted to be freaking turds and start voting for guys named Herbert.
Hey.
I don't know. Hey. Freaking stupid.
Just fighting words.
Are we still talking about this? Haven't we moved on?
I'll just say this. Dylan should be happy that I gave him that cherry on top that is Devonte Booker.
He was one of his better players.
Yeah. I mean, it's only going to last so long. In Dynasty,
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't have Tom Brady, guys. He didn't have Tom Brady.
Uncle Lenny.
Or Uncle Lenny.
Yeah. So
Tom Brady is QB1, and he's only 44 years old. No big deal.
Yeah. I mean, Wentz did well for him, though. So, I mean, it's not like he missed a beat at quarterback. It's just other places that wasn't so good. So
you should have started AP.
Yeah, well, he didn't do much either, but he did get in the end zone. So
He had more points than half his flex plays.
did he not show up the flex?
He did not show up the flex.
I hate it
He
when
is not listening to the show.
I hate it when they don't show up the flex. All right.
You gotta shore it up.
I tried to shore up the flex, but it didn't do me any good. Next score here is the Pooh Crew 166, the Tough Luck Kid 95. So I had some key players on bye, didn't have my best lineup. Not because I didn't try like hell to make a trade. And you two guys know who you are. You bear some responsibility in this. I was working my ass off trying to make a trade just to get somebody else in the flex spot. Didn't happen. And ironically, my flex was better than my starters.
Starters.
So I guess I really did shore up my flex. I just didn't shore up my starters. So, but I can't take too much away from the Pooh Queen here. And this one was kind of over before it began with JT and the Jets. JT and the Jets. Yeah. Freaking Jonathan Taylor puts up a 33 on Thursday, and I turned off the computer and left it that way for the rest of the week. So, guys, chronicle my pain.
I think it's funny that you all season have been just having this horrible luck, and in the 1 week where over half the league is scoring less than 100 points, you get to face the one person that actually has a decent week.
Yeah, 94 points would have won a lot of games.
Yeah.
So.
Would have beaten Dylan. He didn't get his 115 points a week this time. It was only 89 points from what I'm seeing. Would have beaten Dylan, damn it.
My 12-point Patrick though. So
yeah,
you guys know I was going back and forth. Sutton, Claypool. It turned out they were both trash. Anyway, we were watching the game, and I looked up on the TV, and I heard on the TV long touchdown pass. It was on Trayvon Diggs and this whole thing, and I'm like, man, that was Sutton. And he just caught some huge pass, and I was like, I went to go watch the highlight, and it was Patrick, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, Mark served him. Ian, you suck. Like, here we go. And that was it, though.
Yeah, that was about it. That was my bright spot. Tim Patrick, wide receiver 1 for the Denver Broncos. But didn't do me any good.
Well, he had over 60 points with 2 people. It's going to be hard to beat somebody with that kind of production.
Yeah.
Like, JT had a good day, but he had a really good day. Herbert had a really good day. Like, sometimes you're going to run up against that, and it's a tall order to beat that sort of thing.
Yeah, Herbert had been down, too, so I was kind of happy when I saw that he had to move off of Rodgers and go with Herbert. But, Herbert, put that crap behind him and put together a good game. So, yeah, but Herbert and Taylor.
Defense. Philadelphia's been a pretty good defense, too.
Good pass defense, anyway. And then down there, in the defense special team spot, I think he got 17 points
17 points.
So freaking 80 points or so between those 3. And, kind of meh if you look at the rest of it, but that's all he needed, man. Sometimes that's how it goes. So
I have to continue the tradition of giving Ian credit when he picks the right quarterback, and he did it again this week. So his options were...
Well, he didn't have a fucking option.
His options were Aaron Rodgers, who has COVID, and Trey Lance, who didn't play. So he did it again, Ian.
Good job. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Oh, man. Yeah, tough one for me. That's for sure. I was on a roll there. I was hoping to keep it going against Pooh Crew. Didn't happen. So let's go on to our next score here, which is Tank Top Mike 104, Swamp Dick 90. So, Mike, you did what champions do. You survived a bad week. You got the win. Ricky, besides a horrible case of Swamp Dick, came down with Goofy-itis, which is when the fantasy manager starts the wrong defense and leaves the points on his bench that could have won him the game.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, this is your game. Tell us about it, man.
Yeah, like you said, I just survived this one. I take no fun in this. There's nothing great, not much to really point out on this one for either side. Although there is one fun thing. There's the DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, and Olamide trade. And if he had started Olamide, which nobody would have started him. So I'm not saying
Nobody
that.
in their right mind would have
But
started.
if he had put him in and put the whole trade in, he would have won. But yeah, the only fun thing to point out besides that is the amount of players that we had traded for playing in this one. You know, there was Gesicki, there was Cooper Kupp, and there was DJ Moore, there was Tyler Boyd, there was Christian Kirk. There was a whole bunch of players that he and I had traded for in this game, and we put up a stinker because of it. So
I think it's. How often do you see two defenses on the bench that score over 10 points? On the same bench. And then you have the gall to start Atlanta versus New Orleans? That's a trap game in itself. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, I get it because, New Orleans starting Trevor Siemian and Bridgewater's down, and, definitely they're trending in the wrong direction on offense. I get it, but man, it's gotta hurt. Gotta hurt.
In my defense, I was basically starting Von Miller over sitting Khalil Mack, who didn't play. So I figured it'd be all right. And then Von Miller didn't play, and that didn't work out at all.
That did not work out.
But Von Miller plays next week, so watch out.
I like that Humpty is kind of in a burn it to the ground mode now. He even made that call on the chat, but he still has Marquez Brown. Hollywood is doing pretty darn good this year. I made a trade offer for him, and he's sticking with him. He's wide receiver 6. I don't think any of us thought he was going to be wide receiver 6 coming into this year, so I'm happy something's working out for him.
Yeah, that's talking about the trades I was trying to make. That's actually the guy I was going after too, because I thought he could definitely help me out in the flex spot. But he's holding fast to him, and yeah, he's really. And I don't think I think for most of the game he was kind of quiet. I think a lot of that was at the end and in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. But that's just going off of memory after watching a bunch of different stuff. But he still got it done. He's even out targeting Bateman. So that's kind of, I think a lot of people thought Bateman would be the number one, but Marquise Brown is hanging in there, man.
And Tank Top Mike gets the win with one of his Holy Trinity on bye. Next week he gets Swift back, and Eckler and Kamara is going to be up in there, so he'll be back at full power.
I'm excited about that again. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, man. I was looking at freaking sleeper updates. Like, how come no one's talking? Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. Let me shut that off. Let me shut the notifications down. All right, there we go. Let's pay attention to what we're doing here. Let's move on to the next score. We got Orlando City Football Club 99, Goofy Jace 89. So, I glanced at the box score, and I'm trying to figure out how Aaron won this, and I think Aaron is too. I mean,
Nick Chubb. It's the only reason.
Yeah.
Chubb came back.
Yeah, and I told him. He said to me, we talked about this. It's nice to have a healthy Chubb in there, and I told him that's what she said. And but yeah, you look at Goofy side. If you're starting Tajay Sharp and Jamal Agnew, it can get ugly. They've had their moments, but they certainly didn't this week. And when you're back up Green Bay running back outscores your starting Green Bay running back, you just might be doomed. So kind of a bad one for Goofy and just enough for Aaron.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking, is it time to move Aaron Jones if you're goofy. But, like, if you put AJ in there, like, he's going to get you okay points, but the ceiling play for Aaron Jones is a lot higher than the ceiling play for AJ Dillon, isn't it? And
It
then what are
is.
you going to get for trade offer for Aaron Jones? You might get a first and a guy. You're not going to get the league minimum of 2 first-round picks for a leading running back.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think this is just a weird week. I'm almost throwing
Yeah.
away everything this week. I mean, Aaron
Yeah.
Jones is still a top 10 scoring running back, so I wouldn't be worried too much, especially since he said he's still trying to win this year. So if he were punting to next year, I think you're right, though. Aaron Jones might be a trade target. But, yeah, this is one of those weeks I just completely throw out. I don't even think about it ever again.
Absolutely, because Dillon got more. AJ Dillon got more receptions. I mean, where does that make sense? You know, I mean,
It
that's just
doesn't.
crazy. So, and I think Goofy tried to. I think he tried flexing in Dillon one week and it didn't work out. So I don't blame him for going with Jones over Dillon, but that's a tough one. It's sort of like me with the Devonte and Melvin Gordon thing. You know, it's you just never know. There's two guys that are good and they're getting touches, and one guy's going to rise to the top every week. It's not always the guy you have in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Plus Jordan Love. That was a whole weird thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that changed the whole dynamic of the game there too. So, yeah, Aaron, he kept his spot there in the playoffs, and a low scoring week, but he's still high in the overall scoring. So, he did enough to get it done, man. Not a pretty one for him, but he got it done.
I don't know if you were to tell me that Aaron was in and Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill is going to only score 12 points combined, I would have been like, where the heck is he getting his points from? But somehow he made it happen. And Brandon Ayuk, welcome back to the fantasy world, right?
Hello.
16 points.
I'm glad he started him when that happened, too.
Yeah, he may have been more of a default play. I had to play him in a redraft, but I kind of felt like he was trending up, and I'm sure Aaron saw the same things that I saw when I decided to go ahead and ride him. Go ahead and put him in there. So
Aaron did have a fun quote earlier today, chatting with me and Sean. The whole Nick Chubb thing came out with COVID and stuff, and basically the entire running back room. And Aaron said he owns the entire depth chart, so
yeah.
he has all of them. So somebody will play, and he'll start them.
Yeah. Yeah, got to be one healthy guy. Yeah, I saw that today too. I was like, oh my gosh, he just got him back in there for a big game, and now he's got to sit for COVID. That's just crazy, man. All right, let's move on to the last score of the week, which is FNG 103, the Underdogs 76. So, Sean, you called 2 wins for him, and here we are.
Thank you for making me look like a savant when it comes to fantasy football. I appreciate you. I appreciate Lamar Jackson throwing up 30 points this week. And that's with even a running back not even playing. So,
yeah,
good job there, FNG. Good job.
That's, and I was going to say, to add insult to injury, he had 2 goose eggs, and he still beat the Underdogs. If this isn't proof that there's a commissioner curse, I don't know what is. I mean, so his 2 wins are against the commissioners. And they didn't even have the points on their bench. It wasn't like they could have, if they'd have done this or that. They just didn't have it. They just didn't have it this week. And only got 76 points. Just a horrible week for him.
The crazy part is you look at their lineup. I mean, Dak, Najee Harris, Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb. Like, you look at it on paper, and then you're like, that's it. That's 120, minimum every week on a bad week.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 5 guys alone.
I mean, yeah, when the season started, I said they had one of my favorite lineups, if not my favorite in the league. And so I hurt just as much as they do. I feel like this is me too.
I think a lot of that is just this week too, and like I think the Panthers actually pulled their heads from their backsides and they're like, oh, we should probably put CMC on a pitch count now that he's coming back and not just give him 97% of the snaps and run every play through him. And they actually did, and he did okay. But the fact that CeeDee Lamb only got 2 catches out of 9 targets, like what the heck is going on there? That won't happen again.
I don't know. I mean, he popped up on the injury report late in the week, which is always a bad thing, and maybe he was trying to play through something. It wasn't a good game. Anybody that saw that game, it wasn't a good game for the Cowboys. It wasn't their normal offense. They didn't have Tyron Smith on the line. He was out, and it just went from bad to worse from the first time they went for it on 4th down. So hard to say there, but yeah, that you read off that lineup, and people are drooling over that lineup, man. They're like, oh wow, nice,
Yeah.
but only translated to 76 points this week, unfortunately. So, which brings us to the Mr. Miyagi ass waxing of the week. And no surprise that it goes to the underdogs. So I got to tell you guys, I honestly thought about giving it to myself because of that big gap in the score between the Pooh Crew and myself. But if you don't reach 80 points, you kind of have to take your lumps. So I had to go ahead and give it to them. And I got short statements from both of them today. So
from both the managers.
From both of them, yeah. So Evan says, hey, anybody want to trade? So that was Evan. Brandon says,
I do.
I don't want to be commissioner anymore.
I don't want to be commissioner anymore.
So thanks to the guys for giving us their short statements there to let us know how they're feeling about all this. So we'll go on to the standings, and I'm going to let you guys talk about it because I don't have much to talk about, personally in the standings, but both of you guys got a little bit of something to talk about. So let's hear it, man.
Most notably, let's get this out of the way. I'm first. I'm first overall. So
surprised, really surprised that that's your approach, Mike. But it's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought you would have been so humble about it.
Well, I didn't want to keep everybody waiting or worrying. Maybe you didn't look this morning. I don't know, but I'm first. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
What's your record there, TikTok Mike?
7-2. And
that's pretty good.
As Silly likes to remind us, it's all about the record, so we don't need to worry about the points scored. We don't need to update those at all. Because I'm first.
I think TikTok Mike and I were doing some quick math and looking at some people's schedules, and we think it's going to take at least 8 wins to make it into the playoffs this year, which could make it real interesting down the line between about 4 different teams. Marky Mark, you're going to have to win out.
Yeah, that's going to be – I think 8 wins is going to be those last – definitely the 4th spot. Potentially even 3rd, but, you have to be 8 wins to at least think about playoffs. So, Aaron, Sean, obviously, Ricky, Goofy's trending the wrong way currently.
Yeah.
But, like we said, tough week. He's not out of it for sure with 4 wins. But, yeah, looking at 8 wins. So.
Well, we can all say that SillyDilly is not going into the playoff.
He's at 6 wins already, and we need 8. So he's going to have to steal some. Whoever made the schedule is an absolute genius from here on out, in my opinion. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Silly. He got his cheeks spread, pardon my French a little. But,
oh, goodness. Did we really go there? Yeah, Goofy was a big surprise to me to look at it today and see him down there in 7th place. So, it's...
Has Goofy ever been in 7th place?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he was always in the top 4 last year. And Yeah, he's definitely started off okay, but he's had some rough weeks here. So
He made that
uh,
Mike Evans trade, which it wasn't a terrible trade, but I think the Calvin Ridley news was sort of a bit too much for any roster.
yeah,
If you're losing Ridley and Evans, that's tough. So
yeah, he
Yeah,
finally
that's a big loss.
he just finally hit some bad luck. He lost J.K. in the beginning of the year, and kind of the forgotten guy now. But having him in the lineup would have been a big boost for him. So he just finally hit some bad luck. See how that luck goes moving forward. So
and
well,
we have to get it on tape here, just so everybody knows forever. Is F&G has already tied Jay Hill's win total.
Rest in
So
peace.
yeah.
he tied or beat it, didn't he? Beat it, didn't he?
Yeah, he was 2 wins last year.
Oh, he had 2 wins last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he needs one more to beat him.
I thought it was just one, but I forgot he got 2. Okay.
He had one win for so long. I think that's what got
Yeah.
It was a long
our
time.
head.
Yeah.
That must have been it. That must have been it. So yeah. Well, he's got several games left to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Bonus stat on the standings here.
All right.
You ready for this one?
Almost like a Navek nugget here. Let's go.
It could be. Yeah.
But better.
It's a tank top Mike thought here, I guess.
Not that he came up with that slogan right off the side of. Right
that was
off the
Ricky.
cuff.
I got to give credit to Ricky. That was him. Points against for me, exactly 1,008. No decimal. That's incredible. Have you ever seen that happen? No, only me.
no.
No.
Interesting.
That's incredible.
All right, moving on to these Week 10 matchups. Thanks, Tank Top Thoughts.
Moving on. Well, let's give we trades are a part of our weekly lineup here. So
Do we have to?
I will say there was a trade involving some old player that was coming off a hip replacement, I think it was, and there were some low, crappy draft picks involved. And somehow this trade made sense in Tennessee, but nowhere else in the country.
Yeah, I can second that.
Anybody else have anything to say about the NAO trade of the week?
He was picked up and dropped 4 times, all by the DBs before this.
That's weird.
I have a theory about this trade.
Okay.
Let me tell you about my theory. I honestly think Evan was getting so upset that we were moving people on the waiver wire in trades with these players that he wanted to go to his boy Humpty and be like, "Come on, man. Just what do you need? I'll trade you it. I just need to move a waiver wire guy for a pick or something, just so I can be like back in it."
I'm gonna lean on Ricky's side. I'm gonna sympathize ever so slightly. As a fellow different league Henry owner, you're scrambling right now, and I did it too. I picked up a lot of Tennessee running backs in the other league to try to replace Henry. You're not gonna. Maybe it's Foreman though. You don't know. So I get it. I sympathize a little bit. Taking the swing could pay off.
Yeah.
I give this trade to Humpty too. He gets a player and a pick. What's the difference between a 4th round pick and a 5th round pick? Not a whole lot.
A Herbert. It's a difference of a Herbert.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're going to keep throwing that in my face this show. I get it. All right, got it. Cool.
The rookie of the year.
Fun times.
I get it for Humpty too. It's really odd to hear that they picked him up and dropped him 4 times. It doesn't sound like the underdogs at all. They hardly ever do that.
Totally.
So I'm really surprised.
Characteristic of them.
Yeah, I'm blown away by that. So thank you for that. What do you call them? If it's not a Navek nugget, it's a tank top what?
Thought.
Tank top thought.
Starts
Thank
with T.
Thank you for that tank top thought of the day. All right. Now we'll move on to matchups. So we'll start out, of course, with the marquee matchup of the week, which again involves the Fresh Prince of IR. How do you like that? Versus the Pooh Crew. So, Sean, the first time you faced him, you had a bunch of guys on bye. So I'm trying to figure out how you're facing him again with some key players out.
It's almost as if somebody that knew him did the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, the Pooh Queen is unaffected. Is this a coincidence?
Whoever made the schedule is an idiot from here on out, as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, people are going to be rewinding.
Mixed feelings from Tank Top Mike about the schedule here.
People are going to be rewinding. Wait, didn't he just say the opposite? Did I hear that right? Sean, this is your matchup, man. Tell us about it.
I'm gonna need something to go my way, and I think it has to be all these wide receivers that I've acquired throughout the season. I think all of them need to have a day. I mean, that's all it's going to come down to. I think Darrell Williams is under projected right now because they didn't know if CEH was coming back or what have you. So he'll probably be right there about the 10 points. Melvin Gordon's been having a great last couple weeks. They're going up against Philly, which is kind of a toss-up on which Philly defense is going to show up. But I think he could come out to about what he's projected, about 10 points. But it's going to come down to these wide receivers. That's all it's going to come down to. If my wide receivers have real big days, I might be in the running. I'm going to need him to have some crappy down days to get the win. But it could happen. I just need something to go my way.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just, unfortunately not much to add to it. You just got to get a little lucky on this one. Ian's team is pretty good on paper, but those, like you said, your wide receiver core, it's 4 young guys, could boom any week, and you need a boom week, and it could happen.
Well, the guy that's been carrying his team for the last couple weeks, JT, I looked at him and I was like, oh, who are they playing? Jacksonville. Oh, great, he's gonna put up fucking 40 points this week. Fantastic, I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, I was looking at it too, like, oh, maybe Steele's got some tough matchups, but he's got that one. He's got Deontay Johnson going up against Detroit. So, yeah, I
hate to see it. You hate to see it.
I said coincidence, but man, that seems like someone was doing their homework when they made this schedule up. So, if nothing else, these 2 weeks I got to do well, right? So, man, yeah, it should be a good one though, because you're right there. You jumped up into the mix, Sean, and it's a big week for you to keep that going. So see what happens.
I'd love to steal one. Like,
yeah,
I shouldn't win this game, and good chance I might not. But if I get this one, it'll be looking real good looking forward.
Hey, this is one. If you steal it, shakes up all the playoff spots.
This sure does. Sure does. Jacksonville shouldn't have beat Buffalo, and et cetera, from last week. So maybe he'll get a little Jacksonville juju going on there.
Yeah, first time I've ever wanted to be associated with Jacksonville.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next matchup for Week 10, which is Swamp Dick versus Orlando City Football Club. So, yeah. Aaron without Chubb again, unfortunately. Big matchup for him to keep him in the playoff hunt. Meanwhile, Humpty could end up in full fire sale mode with a loss here. So this is a pretty big one too, as far as those middle spaces trying to get up into the playoffs.
Yeah, we're talking 8 wins. I mean, you're sitting at 4 and 5 for these two guys. Yeah, this is a big matchup. This is as close to a playoff game as you can get in Week 10.
I totally agree. I think the winner of this game is going to have a little bit clearer sailing. But what if Humpty wins and he holds off on the fire sale? I think that'd be interesting. I think it'd be interesting if Humpty actually did win this game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Singletary's in right now, and it sounds like Zach Moss may not play. So, there's some red zone carries for Singletary that he may not normally see. So
going up against the Jets too, you can't have a better matchup.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it's a tough one for him to be missing Chubb. Like I said, he's got the whole Cleveland backfield, which is a good backfield to have since they have the number 1 offensive line. Well, maybe not number 1, but they're up there. they're definitely up there at the top, and they want to run the ball, and so whoever's in there is going to have a good game usually. So maybe he'll be able to get the right guy in there.
Question for the cast. Do the New York Jets have their first round pick back this week or no?
I think not.
Yeah, I don't think they're starting him. Yeah.
Because Buffalo, A-Bomb's defense goes up against the New York Jets, and with their backups doing so darn well, that might not be a very good start. Even though it is Buffalo. Buffalo is a fantastic defense, but you can't take them out against the Jets. But the Jets might be able to sneak one up on Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a Mike White game. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. Like you said, it's almost like a playoff game. Here we are, still several games away from that point, but it seems like a playoff matchup. It's a big one this week. All right, let's move on to our next one. This one was almost the marquee mark matchup, because this one is Tank Top Mike versus SillyDilly. So the real rivalry here, the real rivalry now, where we'll see if Dylan can back up all that trash talk,
which he can't,
or will our buddy Mike make him cry like a little girl.
Yeah, like Sean said, I get my 3 running backs back, and now I've got a good trio of receivers in my last 2 trades. So I'm hoping they kind of boom a little bit. But Brady and Lenny are back, so when he has them in the lineup, I'm scoring 110 at most. So
real question there, Tank Top Mike. Have you been a little worried about the Patrick Mahomes downslide for the last few weeks?
I mean, in the short term, it's a little concerning. In the long term, absolutely not. No, zero confidence lost in Patrick. Zero confidence overall lost in Patrick Mahomes. But you look at all the great quarterbacks. They've got slumps. It's a 2-3 week thing. I'm not too worried about it in the slightest. Actually, no. He's got a new baby. Yeah.
And his wife is absolutely crazy. So I don't know why he bring on that thing. But
I'm actually when I saw the last play of the game the other night, where like that crazy pass to Tyreek Hill that finished the game, I was like, yeah, he's fine. There's just that's Mahomes. We're all good.
Tank Top Mike just turns off the TV and goes, he's back, and walks into bed.
But really, the elite production he put up for 3 years, 25, 30 points a game, that's what you want from Mahomes, obviously. But is it sustainable? Obviously not. So no worries yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about Dylan's lineup here. He's got a couple bust guys that tend to bust more than they boom, like Tyler Lockett, Julio Jones, Hunter Henry. Just a couple names that I pulled out of the lineup there for you.
But
I think
Damian Harris, running back 2, though, that's scary to go against.
Really, you're gonna do this to me? You gonna do this to me in front of everybody?
What is he right now? Because he went out with a concussion. And
he's running back 14 right now.
Is that right?
Well, 16 in PPR.
16 in PPR.
I was watching that game, and he's out. Ramondre Stevenson is like tearing it up, gets him down there to like the 3-yard line. They put in Damian Harris for the touchdown. I was like, somewhere Sean is losing his freaking mind right now.
I looked at the stat line and I was like, man, his yards are really bad, but he got 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
What the heck happened?
Yeah, that's why I say he went out with a concussion, and so did Stevenson, though. So we'll have to see how that shakes out for the week coming up here. See if he's even in there. I don't think it was anything too serious, but it's hard to say with the concussion stuff, They
get Cleveland, so.
Yeah, that's not a great matchup.
That's not a great matchup for any of them. So.
That sounds like RB3 to me.
Well, I know that Dylan's average probably went down a little bit, but he was averaging 115 points a game. So, that's no slouch, man.
That's
no slouch.
6-3,
Projected at exactly 115 right now, too. So even Sleeper knows.
If you, right. Dead on. Sleeper's like, this guy's good for 115. We'll give him an extra point. We'll throw in one just to sweeten the pot here. Yeah, if you look at I was looking at the standings earlier, besides crying over me being way down there at the bottom, I was looking at the top four, and it was like that Sesame Street thing. So one of these things is not like the other. You look at those points for one of these things just doesn't belong. So we'll see. We'll see if we get the 115 SillyDilly or the sub 80 SillyDilly. Should be a good one though. And Mike, if he beats you, it's going to be unbearable. You know that.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for
that. Maybe if he beats you, then maybe this will be the week that he finally comes on the show. Maybe we'll get him next week to come talk a little crap.
That. That'd be
I would love it,
man.
man.
That'd be worth it.
We've been wanting him on.
If I lose, he's coming on. That's worth it.
Trash talk aside, we've been wanting him on. There's no doubt. We've asked him several times. So, all right, let's move on. Moving on to the next matchup. We got the Tough Luck Kid going up against the underdog. So the winner of this one holds on to slim hopes. Like you guys are saying, you need the 8 wins. Winner of this one would hold on to some slim hopes. The loser would likely need to win out and get some help to even be, to even have a prayer. So, I looked at the just the real quick point projection, and they're projected for like 145. You talked about that good lineup. On a normal week, that lineup would be 130, 140. I think I was in the 130s, and so and I've got a couple of guys on bye this week again. I don't have Chase there, and so I was looking. I was like, dang man, I just had buys, and now I'm losing some more guys here. So this is at the bottom. Two rosters that are pretty decent. That each one's got to have a win to try to stay in the hunt. So you guys tell me what your observations are.
I'm looking at both these lineups, and I'm like, oh, these lineups are top 4 lineups. And then you look at your records, and you're just like, they don't compute. They don't match. Like,
what the hell, man?
What the heck is going on with these lineups?
Yeah.
Like
you said, thing is that a commissioner needs to win.
Finally.
Yeah. This could break the commissioner curse, huh? Mm-hmm. It will break the commissioner curse. One of us got to win.
Y'all got to what? Unless you guys tie.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. If then that's when I'll turn it over to one of you guys. You can be commissioner then.
But I mean, like we said, 8 wins. You talk about an early playoff game. Here it is. If you lose, you're out. Essentially.
Basically,
yeah.
I
mean,
both these teams are going to have to win out.
Yeah, I think with the trends, it seems like Mark's team has been performing a little bit better, but the underdog schedule is not too terrible the rest of the season. So, and their team, like we said, they're a top 4 team if you look at it. So,
yeah, you got to look at their team and be like, all right, sooner or later, somebody's going to pull the one little pebble on this rock wall holding back the flood of points, and it's just going to unleash itself, right? Their lineup is really, really nice, like real nice. And the fact that they're not stringing wins together is just shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about the fact that I play them this week. They've got they'll probably have Dak and CD going, and of course we'll be down there in Dallas rooting for Dak and CD. So it's going to be kind of tough to be jumping up and down cheering.
Just nothing but handoffs to Zeke the entire game.
There you go.
It throws to Amari Cooper. How inconsiderate, Tank Top Mike.
Well, Zeke could throw it. Zeke throws to Cooper. 2-3 touchdowns.
There you go. Halfback pass. Zeke to Cooper.
3 of them.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. I'll be cheering, and then I'll be remembering that that's points against me. That's points against me. Damn it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's all right. Anything Dak and CD do, I'll be excited, despite what might happen against me by the underdog. So, well, I guess we will move on to our last matchup of the week, and this one is not real exciting. We got Goofy Chase going up against FNG. So we got the number 7 and number 10 teams squaring off against each other. Goofy's kind of in unfamiliar territory down there in 7th place, and he really needs a win to stay alive. I'm sure he's happy to see FNG come up on the schedule. FNG, though, he's gotta try to get that 3rd win to stay out of the bad records section on the site. So, what do you guys think?
I mean, it sounds like James Robinson might play, so he'll get some points there this week.
Yeah. I think it would be awesome if FNG got a win, because it's like we didn't expect him to get 1 win, and if he were to get 3 and to take somebody out of the playoff hunt altogether, I know FNG would love to put those two together. He'd love to take Goofy right out of the playoff hunt and be like, I beat you with my crap team. Just wait until I replenish some of these picks for players.
Yeah, half the first round next year.
5 first-round picks. 5.
Yeah, the first annual FNG rookie draft. We all log on to see who FNG picks.
Which is funny that we say that, because Goofy has 3 of the other 5 picks. So it's going to be a Goofy and FNG pick-a-thon round 1.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that stands. But yeah, that'd be 8 picks between the 2 of them, right? In the first round. Yeah. I'll have to see if that stands. You know how we trade. They work together too. We all work at the same place, so it'll be fun, I'm sure. FNG is not much of a trash talker, but
I tried
Goofy is. What's that?
I tried to trash talk him, but didn't work.
Yeah. He doesn't bite. He's just like, yeah, whatever.
I will say, I'm looking at FNG's first round picks, and if everything stayed, let's assume no movement. Currently, he has all 4 of the bottom picks. So he's got yours, Mark. I guess he has Sean, so he's not in the bottom. But
he has his also.
He has his, and he has the underdog. So he has 3 of the 4 bottom picks right now.
Wow.
So if all things stay, that's a pretty good rebuild. So credit to that for him. So
his will be at least a top 4 pick.
Yeah. Right now he's got 3 of the top 4 right now.
That's why you can't trash talk him. He's like, hey man, I ain't got time for you. I'm looking at the rookies coming in.
He's watching college football like it's going out of style. Watching every replay.
He's already doing his homework, man. He's like, I ain't got time for you, man. I got a draft to prepare for.
That's kind of how I think Evan spends his Friday evening at home with a tall glass of wine, just swirling it in the glass. And he's just fast forwarding and rewinding tape from high school games that he wants of players that he wants to draft in 6 years. Yeah, this guy's gonna be the next thing, and his wife just comes in and just keeps on pouring the wine for him. That's how I think Evan.
Is he a wine guy?
Spends his Friday evenings.
He's a wine guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a wine guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Pinky in the air kind of wine guy.
I don't know if he's a drinker. You remember Ricky made comments about how I think they had to kind of talk him into going in and having a drink at the bar when Ian came to Tennessee, and something about he didn't burn up or something like that. So I don't think he's much of a drinker, but
it wasn't the right setting. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, that was our week in review, week 9, the travesty that is week 9. If you missed anything, SillyDilly still sucks. we're going on to week 10. You need to magically hit 8 wins to make it to the playoffs. Tank Top Mike said so, and he's the top dog. If you missed that, also,
I know what I'm doing.
He knows what he's doing.
It was an official Tank Top thought.
Is it Tank Top thought? But don't forget, Ian, you said